Why, hello, chaps and chapettes. Let me tell you a scary tale. A tale about a small little village in the middle of nowhere that gets invaded by zombies.
Well, you see, there's this small little town out in the middle of nowhere and it gets invaded by zombies, much like in this game Last Night on Earth. In this video, I'm going to show you how this game plays. I'm going to go through the rules for you, and then afterwards I'm going to give you not one, but two reviews. I'll give you a technical review, how the game mechanics mesh together, how the components and the product itself, is it solid? And then I give you my own personal kind of view on the game. Is it a good game? Is it my cup of tea, or is it not my cup of tea and it's actually like a cold cup of tea? I think that would be the equivalent of not my cup of tea. A cold cup of tea is the most disgusting thing in the world. And I better do a warner. I better do a warning on this video to say that some of the card art that you may see may be a little bit more graphic for younger viewers. Yeah. So here's a little bit of technical detail, and let's get to it.
The first thing you're going to do is, as players, you're going to choose which scenario you're going to play. For the purposes of this video, we're going to choose Die Zombies Die. These mission cards tell you how many turns will be in the game and what the objectives are for the heroes and the zombies. Then players are going to decide whether they're going to be the zombie player or the heroes. Depending on the number of players will determine how many heroes each hero player controls and how many players will be zombie players. If this is your first time playing the game, you'll want to play with the basic decks of cards, the heroes and the zombies. But if you're an experienced gamer, you'll probably want to play the advanced version, and so keep all of the cards in those decks. And give them a shuffle. In the middle of the table, you're going to place the town center board. Then at random, draw 4 of the L-shaped outer boards and place them around the town center. Also place the sun track near the center of the table so all players can see how many rounds are left. The hero players will then randomly select their heroes that they're going to play. In every game there will always be 4 heroes on the table, so choose the number of heroes that are required depending on the number of players. You then select their figure which goes with that character, and you'll also go through the hero deck and find any special weapons that you start with at the beginning of the game. Then shuffle the hero deck and place it near the heroes ready for action. Each hero has a number of special powers. They also have a starting space. If the building that your character starts in is available on the board, you place your hero miniature on that space. If not, you will place them in the middle of the town center and draw 1 hero card. If you draw a play immediately card, shuffle it back into the deck and draw another. All weapons and item cards need to be played face up onto the table next to your character card. And now the zombie player. He will take all of the zombies and place them next to him. This is his pool. If there are 2 players playing the zombies, one player will take the green zombies and the other will take the brown. The zombie player will roll 2d6 dice and the result equals the number of zombies that will start at the beginning of the game. These zombies are then placed out on the red X's. These are spawning pits, and these zombies must be spaced out equally. So if 7 zombies spawn, 3 of the spawning pits will have 2 zombies each and 1 will have only 1. The zombie player will also take all of the tokens and of course his zombie deck. We are now ready to play. The game will be played over a number of rounds depending on what the mission tells you, and each round the zombies will move and then the heroes will move. And then the zombies will move, and then the heroes will move, and if there are any zombies left, they will move, blah blah blah. So the first thing that the zombie player does is move the soundtrack marker. For the first round, they simply place it on the number as indicated on the mission tile. In the case of Die Zombies Die, it's 15. But every round afterwards, the soundtrack marker will just go down the numbers until it reaches 1. If on the zombie turn it moves from 1 to sun, that means fun, and probably the zombies have won. Next, the zombie player draws some zombie cards. They will always draw up to their hand size of 4 cards. They can, before they decide to draw, discard one of the cards from their hand, and that will give them a chance to refresh it a bit. Then the zombie player will roll to see if they will spawn any new zombies at the end of their turn. They roll 2d6s, and if the result is higher than the number of zombies that are on the board, they will spawn some more zombies at the end of their turn, but it'll have nothing to do with this result. Obviously, if they roll lower, there will be no zombies coming on at the end of this round. Then, the zombies move. Each zombie will move 1 space to the nearest hero. Their zombie hunger means that they will go after the hero closest every time. Even if there's a hero in the same space, they won't move, they just stay in that space. Zombies also have the power to walk through walls. We've all seen it on Michael Jackson's Thriller, so it must be true. In this phase, the zombie player can play any of their zombie cards, which might help their zombies to zip run across the board or just appear anywhere. Once all the zombies have moved, if a zombie is in the same space as a hero, there is a fight. A zombie attack consists of 1d6 being rolled. Heroes, who are normally unarmed, can defend with 2 dice. Again, cards can be played by either the hero or the zombie player to adjust the amount of dice or the value of their dice. To see if the heroes have fended off an attack from a zombie, they look at their highest value dice. If it is higher than the zombie's attack, then they have successfully defended. But if it is equal or lower, they have been bitten and take a wound. But if the hero has rolled higher and has a double on any of his dice results, they get to do 1 wound to the zombie, possibly killing it, as all zombies only have 1 life point. Unless... we'll get back to that later. If there are many zombies in a space as a hero, each zombie will attack individually. If there are less zombies than there are heroes, the zombie player will have to choose one of the heroes to attack. And if there's an equal amount of zombies and heroes, each hero will be attacked by 1 zombie. After all the fighting is done, it is time to spawn some more zombies. This phase will only happen if you were successful earlier with your spawning new zombies. If you were successful before, you just roll a d6, and that's the number of zombies that you add to the board, again distributing them equally amongst the spawn pits. And then it's the heroes phase. The heroes can choose whichever order they wish to activate in, but once they activate, they must do all of their actions before passing to the next player. Each hero will start with a movement action. They will roll a dice. The number on the dice dictates how many spaces they can move. They can move orthogonally and diagonally. But unlike the zombies, they can't walk through walls and they will have to use the doors. If the hero goes through a square with zombie on it, they will immediately end their movement. But if you started in a space with a zombie, you can run away. But you don't have to move. You can, if you wish, and if you are in a building, decide to search instead of move. This is particularly useful when all the zombies at the other side of the board, and also if you've rolled a number 1, because you are probably doing a number 1 right now. To search the room, you just take a card from the top of the hero deck. If it's an event card, you put it in your hand. If it's a card which says play immediately, then you play that card immediately, taking out the actions that it says. If the card is a weapon or an item, you place this in front of yourself. You have a limit. You can only have 4 cards in front next to your character card. 2 of them can be weapons, but no more. Some buildings have special search conditions. For example, the gun shop. If you're searching in the gun shop, you can either draw from the hero deck or you can draw from the discard pile. If in the discard pile there are, as it is marked, any guns or ammo cards, you can take one of them. After the movement phase is done, players can exchange items with each other if they are in the same space. This is a simple test of negotiation and just swapping cards. Next, the hero can do a ranged attack, but only if they have a ranged weapon. Simply follow the instructions on the card telling you how far you can shoot, which is how many spaces, and again, pay attention to walls because they can block line of view. The only exception to this is if a hero is next to a wall, which means that they are looking through the windows, which means that they can either shoot out of a building or into a building, again making sure that they have line of sight and there are no other walls blocking. Each hero can only do one ranged attack and may suffer some consequences like running out of ammo. Afterwards, it's melee attacks. If a hero is in a space with a zombie or more, then there is a fight, much the same as there was when the zombies fought the humans. After all the fighting is done and victims have been claimed, it's the end of the heroes phase and it's back to the zombies phase, and they will start by moving the sun track marker. If a hero is ever killed, they are not eliminated from the game. That player simply takes another unused character card and starts them from scratch. But when a zombie is killed, it is returned to the zombie pool for a little swim. As I said earlier, heroes and zombie players can play event cards whenever they wish, but they have to pay attention because some of the cards will say only to be played at the start of their turn. And there are some more advanced rules in the game, like zombie player can take control of hero players once they've killed them, and they become hero zombies, a bit tougher to kill and just as chewy and on the outside as they are on the inside. The heroes will win the game if they complete the objectives of the scenario, and the zombie player will win the game if they don't complete the objectives, or the sun track goes past the one, or if there are no more hero cards to be drawn from the hero deck, or if there are no more humans to be respawned. That, chaps and chappets, is Last Night on Earth in a nutshell.
So there you have basically most of the basic rules for Last Night on Earth. If there are some questions that you have about the rules, put them in the comment box below and I will get back to you as soon as possible about the rules. In regards to the components in this video, there is a mishmash of some of the expansions which I found a bit hard to siphon off, so I apologise that everything that you saw may not be in the base game. There might be a few characters which are different, but you know, they look cool. So let's review this game. Last Night on Earth is a board game that every zombie will find easy to grasp hold of, like one of those teenage targets that they kind of grab hold of, but may find hard to chew on due to the fact that it might not be the kind of meat that they like to eat. So what does that mean? Well, hopefully I can, you know, open that up in my two technical and personal reviews. Technically, what are you getting in this box? Well, you're getting a bunch of things. You're getting a handful of not too bad created minis. They are pretty good. The zombies are nice, and you know there are zombies. The problem is the heroes. Sometimes you're looking at them, especially your first time when you're playing, you're like, okay, well, which one is this character? Because there's no reference between the character card and the mini itself. You know, you just have to kind of do a process of elimination. Okay, that's the sheriff because he's got a sheriff hat, a gun and a torch, and you know the image of the sheriff is like that. And then it's a process of elimination. Okay, that's my character, and even when you're playing you kind of forget which one is yours. There's a nice big handful of standard dice. They are chunky-ish. They are solid. You know, they're smaller than what I would like, but they do the job. And it looks nice. The art style. People don't like the art because it's photographs. It's photography. These are actors, and they've gone through Photoshop to make them look, you know, painted. And it works. It works really well. It works nice for me on the card art and everything. It looks nice. There is a great selection of images that do different things, and it looks filmy. It looks like they've been taken from a film. The only bad side to that is how it translates into the rest of the game, because the board itself is cartoony artwork. And then you have some of the tokens which are cartoony artwork, like the dog. Where, if I can find it, I don't know if I can find it. But then you got the gas. The gas. There's a card which says gas, and it has an image of a gas. And then you have a cartoon gas canister. And the same for the dog. There's a cartoon dog. When on the card there is a real dog. So there's a bit of a disconnect there. It is dark and seedy, but you don't have any trouble finding what you're looking for. Everything is quite clear to see. And the card is very, very thick for the board. Also for the character cards, and also the tokens are big and chunky and thick. Great. They have this gloss on them, which is really nice. But then also the cards have the same gloss on them, which is a bit annoying because the cards stick together. So when you're shuffling or when you're drawing, cards will stick together. Now you may have noticed that I have sleeved mine, which does ease the problem, but the thing is they don't go back into the box insert, which I need to show you. But the reason I've sleeved mine is because I have translated them into French. Okay, so again, you might have noticed that in the video. But all in all, the card quality is good. As I said, there's just the gloss which makes them stick, which is annoying. And then the box insert. The box insert holds everything nicely. But as I said, if the cards are sleeved, it wouldn't. And this is a really nice insert and is worth every bit of money. And there is also, drum roll, a soundtrack CD which comes in the game as well. Now the soundtrack CD has a number of tracks, and they are all very eerie, kind of, you know, late 60s, early 70s kind of vibe of horror film. And for me, that's not my idea of, you know, a zombie film. My first kind of zombie film was Day of the Dead, followed by Dawn of the Dead. Or was it Dawn of the Dead and then Day of the Dead? But I never saw Last Night, not Last Night on Earth, Night of the Living Dead. And so I never got that vibe. And most of the horror films that I watched were in the 80s, and they were all kind of electronical. And so, you know, the John Carpenters and the other guys which do Joseph, someone or other, who did Evil Dead soundtrack. And that was kind of my kind of feeling. So the soundtrack CD is a great addition. The music is good, but I don't use it because it's not my type of music. And in fact, this game and the idea that the soundtrack was in the game inspired me to create my own soundtrack, but I'll talk about that later. And I use that, and you probably heard it in this video. But the idea that they put a soundtrack in their game is a fantastic one. It's a great idea. It enhances the gameplay. So technically, a CD soundtrack in the background while playing your game is a great bonus to the game. The rulebook. The rulebook is very well written. It's a very basic game. And there are lots of little paragraphs and bars, block bars for each thing, and you can follow the game because it explains everything at the beginning how the players work, the overview of the game, and then it goes into what all the components are and what they do, and then it tells you how to set up pretty quickly, and then it tells you how to play, so you can kind of like read it and play at the same time. They have segregated the fighting to another section of the rule book, instead of putting it in with where the actions. And again, they've done some good examples of what line of sight is through buildings and around buildings, which is perfect. And then there's a bit of back and forth, especially at the back. There's an advanced rule section, which I would recommend probably playing with the advanced rule if you are an experienced board game player. If you're new to board gaming and your last game was Parcheesi, then play the base game. But I'm getting ahead of myself here and giving you my personal opinion. But the advanced version of the game really shines and makes this game. These also got hero profiles on the back here. A bit of background story just to influence the game. And again, they got an FAQ because this game has been out for 10 years. So technically, the components that you get in the box, the amount of stuff that you get in the box is pretty good, barring a few kind of art problems and the quality of the cards. But it is pretty good, and I would give it a high 8.5 due to the fact that everything that you get is really, really nice and functional, and it works. So how do I feel about the game? Well, let's go through some more technical things about the game. The game play is essentially a take that, roll and move game, which is something that probably other people of my age will know, because it's the types of games which came out in the 60s, 70s and 80s and 90s. And it was a case of, to move, you had to roll a dice to see how far you got. And then to do things, you had to use cards. But the cards that you were given were whatever cards were given to you or played on you. And this game is, a bit out of time. It's 2017. I'm getting old. But and this is a game from the 80s and 90s feel, even though it was 2007 that this game came up. And the mechanics are familiar, but they're simple and they're random because it's random card draws, and it's take that where someone would be playing a card on you and maybe you can screw them over because they think they're screwing you over, and you play a card back which blocks their power and whatever. And again, it's roll and move. Now, some of the nice things about it is you can negate the roll and move with a card, but you have to be lucky enough to draw the right card. You can negate the roll and move if you wish to search, which is a great idea. And I wish that there was something more, because again, if you rolled a 6, you're wasting 6 movement points. If you're going to search, it would be nice if you roll a 6, you could draw 2 cards because you've searched really well. Yeah, or maybe inverse. Maybe a 1 means that you can draw 2 cards, because then it will influence you to search some more. Maybe stay a bit longer in the space so the zombies come. The zombies themselves, although thematic, can be quite boring for the zombie player. You're playing your zombies and all they can do is move 1 space to the nearest hero. And if a hero is staying still, then it's like, great. But if they're not standing still, your zombies are waving all over the place. Which is, again, as I said, thematic. And you're just waiting for that time that you can play the right card on them. Managing your hand of cards can be quite awkward as a zombie player. You might think, oh wow, this is a good card, this is a good card, this is a good card. You'll waste a turn by not discarding a card and not drawing a card and not playing a card. And you're thinking, I'm going to play one of these in a minute, I'm going to play one of these in a minute. And you don't. I kind of wish that you would be able to just draw more cards into your hands. Each round you'd get an extra card, an extra card, an extra card. And then there's more possibilities, because you might be stumped with your card draws again. But then again, sometimes the card draws don't stump you, and you just have a plethora of great cards to play on the heroes. The door's locked, which is very thematic. They're going, all right, I'm going to go in this room. Stop! that door's locked. They're like, no! You know, and you know, they go into a building. Oh, stop! The lights are out there. Zombies have cut the power in that building. You can't go in there. No! You know, it's really thematic in that sense. But again, for the heroes, the luck of the draw on missions, like if you're searching for gas keys so you can get in the van, load it up with petrol and get out of Dodge. If you draw the first 4 cards and they're exactly what you need, or they're play immediately, oh, you found something. Take a card from the middle of the deck, whichever card you want from the deck. Your game's experience can be reduced to about 10 minutes or 15 minutes because of the good card draws. You're searching the village for the villagers, and they're in the deck, and they're all at the top. You know, your game experience is going to be cut. Now that has happened a couple of times. Now I won't say that's happened a lot. So I don't want to put this game down because I really love this game. Yes, this game has crass, out-of-date mechanics. This game has things that I despise in other games. This game has, you know, this massive luck element of dice rolling and card drawing and take that. But I enjoy playing it because of the experience that it gives. It does recreate a zombie film. You're actually making your own zombie film. There's no strategy. There's no real planning. There is teamwork. When you work as a team, you can, as a team, fight through the most difficult card draws and survive and win. But sometimes the teamwork might go out the window, which is, again, it replicates the kind of things which happen in this genre of film. The team just go off and do their own things. Oh, I'm going to go over here. I don't want to go there. I don't want to help you out. I'm not going to cover you. But then there's those moments when you get together as a team. Go, no. There's 5 zombies around them. They've just rolled a 2. They can't run away. I know what. I'm going to run over there with the gasoline, chuck it and light it, and boom. Take out a bunch of zombies. Maybe give some damage to that hero, but boom. And it's those moments which really shine. You know, out of 10 games, you probably have 2 games or 1 game which goes really, really badly. And it's just this great ambience that you get while playing. The game is in no way balanced. It's, as I said, it is too much luck. And the zombies could win easily, the heroes could win easily. Which is a big drawback. So some kind of counterpoint balancing system would have been nice in the game. Again, the game is not balanced when you're playing with different numbers of players. Now, normally when you're playing with, if you play a 6-player game, you've got 2 people playing as zombie players and 4 players playing as heroes. That game can be long and boring, especially for the zombie players, because you're only going to get half of the hand of cards. You're only going to get half of the zombies. You're only going to get half of the dice. No fun whatsoever. It's a nice idea, but in theory it doesn't work. Again, when you're playing a 4-player game, you have 2 zombies and 2 heroes. Nah, it's best with 3 or 5 players. This game shines in those moments. The missions, there's 5 missions in the base game. So you've got a nice variety of missions when you're playing the game, and they all do different things. You either got to save the villagers, you either got to gas up the tank and get out there, or you got to kill as many zombies as you can, or you've got to survive in the mansion, which is on the back of the board. There's a mansion tile, and you can, you know, it's manic. And if there's not enough missions there, you can buy the expansions, but you don't have to buy the expansions. If you go to the Flying Frog website for Last Night on Earth, you can download scenarios and print off the rules and the little bits of extras. There are extra tokens in this game. I should have put that in the technical part of the video. The extra tokens, you can make up your own scenarios. This is a game which is, you know, it's making you tell stories, and that's what it is. It's a storytelling game. It's not a strategic, deep, you know, think your way out this puzzle kind of game that you probably get with a Zombie Side or with Descent or anything. This is just a dice fest, card fest. Let's just have a laugh. So I'm not going to babble on too much longer now. I'm going to give you my overall view of this game, my overall score for this game. my Board Game Geek score would be a 9 out of 10. This is a game that I like playing and want to play more. It is really enjoyable. As I said, it's a storytelling experience. It's more than a game, more than a strategy game like that or any other. Last Night on Earth, Dead of Winter is more of a negotiation game where you're trying to deduce if anyone's bad or anything, and then trying to survive as a team. City of Horror is more of a pure negotiation game. Your negotiation people off to sacrifice themselves to die so your characters can live at the end of the game. And then Zombicide is a co-op game where it is a roll, move and combat fight stuff, but you have to do it strategically because these zombies are programmed to do certain things because you're playing against the game. Whereas this, you're playing against, I prefer that playing against a human player who, yeah, they're moving slow zombies, but all of a sudden you never know when they're going to play like a shamble card, and then boom, that zombie's just going to run 4 spaces right up to you and just like in the films, spawn a zombie from here, zombie falls from sky on a parachute. This game is, for me, a 9 out of 10. It's an enjoyable experience. I love playing it. As I said, I want to play it some more, and I want to play it with the expansions. I haven't played with the expansions. I've added the characters in, and some of the expansions have barriers that you can construct. I think you use your roll of your dice when you move to construct a barrier. So you instead of searching, you can construct a barrier, and you can make the barriers stronger to barricade yourself in. Again, there's lots more other tokens. There's a tractor, there's cars, there's bits and pieces. You can be really imaginative with this game. Really enjoyable. Zombie cinema fest, but it has the bad kind of Americanized game mechanics. But overall, if I combine my technical score with my Board Game Geek store, you have a score of 8.75, which is not too bad for a game which is 10 years old and is having its 10th anniversary edition, I've just found out. So yeah, if this game interests you, maybe you want to buy the full version with the 10th anniversary edition with Timber Peak and all the other expansions and the hero packs and everything, and the zombies, radioactive zombies and stuff like that. So yeah, you look out for that. That's coming very much soon. And as I mentioned earlier, this game inspired me to do a soundtrack CD to replace the one which is in the game. Not saying that it's bad, I'm just saying that it's not my idea of what zombie music should be. And yeah, I created this called Last Night. It's called Last Night, not Last Night on Earth, which is a CD soundtrack that you can download. You can listen to it free on Spotify, or you can pay for it on Spotify and iTunes and all that. And you put it on random, and so the tracks start the same and end the same, and you don't know what track's going to come next, if it's going to be a piece of music, if it's going to be a jump scare. And yeah, it's more John Carpenter-y style, very 80s kind of scary music, which you, as I said, you can hear in this video. So I'll say thank you very much for watching this video and spending your time learning how to play the game and what I think and what I believe is what an overall review of this game should be. Hope you found it informative and it's pointed you in the right way, whether this is a game to sit on your shelves or not. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe and see more videos, you can subscribe. It's not important. But if you want to help contribute towards the show, get your name in your credits, and also maybe get yourself a few promos, then you can go to my Patreon, Board Games Everybody Should. You can always go to my website, boardgameseverybodyshould.com, where you can see all my reviews and my blogs, and you can find the music. Yeah, the Last Night music, and also what other kind of soundtracks I've been working on as well. So I'll say ciao for now, and remember, you don't have to own every single board game out there. You just need to own a few good ones, and hopefully I've pointed you in the right direction.
Just sitting at the table next to Felicia. So